Okay, today we're going to be working on front disc brake replacement. We have a 2014 Chevy Impala here. Disc brake setup is pretty much going to be the same on every vehicle, just slight variations in how the calipers come off, and we're going to go over all that. But this is intended to be a step-by-step tutorial for anybody that has no clue. You've never done brakes before. This is a very easy job with some very basic tools. You can do it on your own and save yourself quite a bit of money. So we're going to go over this, like I say, step-by-step. Okay, so go ahead and check your owner's manual to see where they recommend you jack your car up from. Get yourself a jack stand under there on each side, because you will need to take apart both sides. You can do one side at a time if you like, but just get it up in the air, get yourself a jack stand under there so the wheel's off the ground. I'm not going to get into where to jack it up, because like I say, there's different variations. You have a solid frame, subframe, whatever. So just check your owner's manual, it'll show you. And go ahead and pop your wheels off. In this video, I like to put the tool list in a lot of my videos. This one I'm not, because like I said again, this is not specifically for the Chevy. I'm going to be making this video for any disc brake setup. So one little bonus tidbit I want to put on there. If you have these, a lot of these lug nuts or cap style, if these strip out on you, they round off on you, don't panic. All you got to do is punch a screwdriver through the tip of this. This outer piece is just a hollow aluminum shell over a steel lug nut. A lot of older vehicles, the lug nuts are wore, or if somebody doesn't get the proper size socket on there, it rounds off. Like I say, you don't need to get into a cuss fest. Punch a screwdriver through here, do what you got to do to pry this shell off, and then you'll have a solid steel lug nut underneath that you can get a socket on and get them off. Okay, so once we have lug nuts off, go ahead and pop the wheels off. And if your wheels are stuck like this, you can take a mini sledge or something and bang on the rubber. You can kick it. If you can get underneath of it, sometimes it helps to hit it from the backside out. Sometimes they just stick on there a little bit. Okay, so the first thing here is going to be to remove the caliper itself right here, and then we're going to be taking off this bracket. You're going to have different mechanisms that hold your caliper on. 90s Fords, for example, your 3/4 ton trucks had a two-piece diamond-shaped bushing that went through there that you had to hammer out. Most things you're going to be working on are going to be held on by two bolts. We have one here and one here. If you don't see a bolt, look around for a rubber plug or a rubber cap. Sometimes these are internal hex bolts that have a rubber plug or a rubber cap over them. Another way to find them is also you usually will have a rubber accordion piece here. This is a protective cover over that bolt, because this bolt is non-threaded through here and then threads in the end, so that the caliper can slide in and out as the brake pads are adjusting. So again, just look at what you have, find your two bolts. Could be Torx, could be hex, could be a regular bolt, whatever you may have, find it and go ahead and remove those. Okay, once you have your two bolts out, go ahead and remove the caliper. I can feel that this one's a little loose, probably going to pop off. But if they are stuck a little bit, I'm going to show you what we normally do. Just get yourself a short little pry bar, put it right inside there, however you fit it in there, and just pop these off. And then you want to bungee strap or zip strip these up out of the way. Don't let them hang, because you could damage the brake line. Okay, so once you've got your caliper off, you can go ahead and remove your brake pads if they want to slide out and come off. Otherwise, we can wait until we have this bracket off, and they'll come with the bracket. So now look on the back side here, and you'll see two more bolts. I'll see if I can get the camera back in there. But if you just follow this bracket around, you're going to find where the other two bolts now mount the bracket on. Okay, so on the back side of the caliper here, you can see right here where we took off that other bolt that locked the caliper on, bolted the caliper on, and then follow the bracket right down, and we have this other bolt right here. And you're going to have one at the top, one at the bottom that holds this bracket on. Okay, so once we get that second bolt off, this bracket's going to pull right off with the disc brakes in there, the brake pads. Okay, once you have your bracket off and you have your brake pads off, now we have to remove what's called the disc. This is the rotor. So the newer vehicles are going to have some sort of screw holding these discs on. Older models won't have this, usually the rotor will just pull right off. If it's stuck for any means, put your lug nuts back on here and then give it some wax with a hammer in between the studs. But again, put your lug nuts on before you would do that, so that if you accidentally miss and nick, you're not messing up your threads. You can also hit on this outer lip. But again, on a newer vehicle, check to make sure you don't have screws holding these in. If you do, they're not just going to come right off. You're going to need what's called an impact hammer. I'm going to show you what that is. Okay, so here's what I have. It's going to have a series of different screw tips and the impact tool itself. I'm just going to find the tip that fits in here. This is a Torx. I'm going to find my Torx bit that fits on there. And so now this is kind of like a manual impact wrench. What it's going to do is as I hit on this, it's going to give this quick jolts to bust this nut loose. And that'll work that loose for you, and then you can finish unscrewing it and you're good to go. Now in my particular case, that screw broke. It's not a big deal. All you're going to do is I just took a center punch from a pneumatic hammer tool, knock this out, and then you can go to the parts store and get a new one of these. You'll see it's got splines on here. All you can do is take it down to the parts store, match it up, get another one, and then you can pop that back in the back side of this and put a new screw in. Honestly, you don't have to have that screw on there. When you put the wheel on, lug nuts, and the disc brakes, the calipers and all, it's going to be on there. Remember, for decades we never had these screws, but if you do want to replace that, it is a repairable item. So that concludes the disassembly. Now there's a few more things to go over. Your calipers here, your rotors rather. Your rotor can be what they call turned. A mom and pop garage that'll do this for you. They will measure this and they can cut this down. They'll run a tool over. It's a special tool that basically re-smooths the edges. Costs between $10 to $15 to turn a rotor. And that's what you're going to be asking about. You're going to walk in and say, can you turn rotors? That's terminology. If you can turn it, $10 to $15 a piece versus anywhere from $50 to $150 for a new one. So if you're able to turn it, I would highly suggest doing that. Now, if you're a young kid and you ride your brakes real hard and you're 0 to 60 and everywhere, I wouldn't turn your rotors. When you turn them, they're going to be a little thinner. That means if you're riding your brakes crazy, you're going to warp them, and then when you press down on your brake pedal, you're going to feel that fluttering. That's because your rotors are warped. Now something else, whether your rotor feels smooth by hand or not, if you're replacing your brake pads, you need to replace your rotors. And vice versa, if you're replacing your rotor, you need new brake pads. If the rotor, even though it feels smooth, it's not. So when you put new pads on there, the grooves that are in your rotor are now going to wear into your new pads, and it's going to wear these down faster than what they should be. And again, vice versa. If you've got slight grooves in your pad, doesn't matter how thick that brake material is, they can look new, but if they have grooves worn in them and you put a new rotor on, you're now going to transfer these grooves onto your rotor. So again, replace one when you replace the other. And you always do brakes, front or back. You always do both sides. You don't just do just a front left or just a front right. If you're doing front brakes, do front brakes. Now, when your caliper is, as your brake pads are wearing down, that piston in the caliper is coming out. So we need to recompress that piston before our new pads will fit back on over top of our rotor in the bracket that we removed. So we're going to cover that real quick now. So as you can see here, this piston is out a little bit. Again, as the brake pads wear down, that piston comes out. We need to push that piston back in so there's enough room in here for our brake pads. So here's how we're going to do that. You're going to take one of your old brake pads and put it in here, and then we're going to get a C-clamp, and we're going to put a C-clamp on this and just manually push this right back in as we work our C-clamp around. And it will help if you take the cap off of your brake fluid reservoir under the hood. This will push in a little easier then. So just going to put our C-clamp right centered on that, centered on where the piston is, and I'm just going to work it back in. And you'll feel when it's all the way up against there, and you'll see it when it's all the way back in there. And that's all there is to that. And I didn't take my brake fluid reservoir cap off, but again, if this is going in hard, you can try that. Now, depending on what vehicle you're working on, you may have two pistons. This is a one piston assembly caliper. You may have two pistons. If you have two, it's going to be the same thing. You're going to put a brake pad in here and then just work your C-clamp back and forth, or put two C-clamps on and take turns working them back and forth. That way you're getting them both in evenly. Now, something to go over with this. These are rebuildable. If your brake caliper is sticking, let's say your brakes are really hot on one side, or whatever the case may be that you diagnose it down to a sticking brake caliper or a bad brake caliper. Instead of replacing them on a 3/4 ton truck, they want to run about $150. You can get a rebuild kit for $15. On a car like this, I'm going to guess probably about $100 for a new caliper. I can rebuild this for about $10. The biggest component that you're rebuilding on a caliper is an O-ring that sits inside here. Now, I'm going to eventually, next time I have one to rebuild, I'm going to make a video. But just to quickly go over how you would go about doing it. If you disconnect the brake hose at the back, put a brake pad in here, put a 2x4 in here, put something in here. We're then going to take our air nozzle where the brake line goes in, and we're going to shoot air into there, which is going to launch this piston out. And I do mean launch the piston out. So again, put something in here and keep your fingers out of the way. Once that piston comes out, there's an O-ring on this. The kit is going to come with a new O-ring. Put the new O-ring in, pop this back in there, you're done. The dust cover that's in here that you see come out with the piston, I really suggest not replacing that. It comes in the rebuild kit, but I would just put the existing boot back on the piston when you're done replacing the O-ring, because the O-ring sits farther back than the lip that the boot sits in. Put the boot back on and just reuse it, because I've had a hard time with those boots staying in the groove inside the bore. If this piston cup has worn into your brakes and is all chewed up, you can get a new piston cup also. They're about $6 on a brake caliper like this. So you're talking maybe $10 for the O-ring kit and the boot, and $6 for a new piston. Still far cheaper than $100 for a new brake caliper. So again, these are also serviceable if you need to do that. So now we're going to go over reassembly, which really isn't any different, and I hate to do this to most videos, but it's the honest truth. It is the reversal of disassembly. Put your caliper back, or your rotor back on. If you have that screw you want to put back on, put that screw back on. Put your bracket on. Put your brake pads on. Pay attention to your bracket assemblies here. You'll see the grooves that the brake pad sits in, and they have these little metal clips. Make sure those are in there where they need to be. Just play with it. You'll see it really is idiot proof how these clips and all go in there. Everything fits in a certain way. And then if you have these sliding bushings, you know, the bolts that held the caliper on here, make sure you put a little grease on that so that they can move in and out smoothly. That's another reason why brakes often fail. If they seize up, sometimes it could just be those bolts sticking. Something else to go over I forgot to mention: if you do rebuild your caliper, or if you replace your caliper, you need to do both sides as well. If you only replace one side and not the other, you will have uneven braking. When you go to put on your brakes, you're going to notice a car pull left or pull right because one has less friction than the other. So again, they need either rebuilt together or replaced together. But always do both calipers at the same time. I think that just about covers everything. And that really is all there is to disc brakes. So hopefully that helped you out and can save you some money. Thanks a lot for watching, and if you haven't already, please subscribe.